want to get back to the Pope, who gave a historic speech at a joint meeting of Congress today. Here to break it down are two congressmen who actually attended the address, Congressman French Hill, who invited a Catholic school teacher to meet the Pope, and Congressman Jeffrey Fortenberry, who recently visited the Vatican. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Congressman Fortenberry, your visit to the Vatican, tell us about that and tell us about your impressions so far, particularly with this joint session of Congress.
Well, I think the Pope's speech was very inviting. He was very pastoral, very father-like. And one of the surprises, I think, was that he had a great understanding, a depth of understanding of America's tradition. And he just hit it out of the park when he said America is the land of the free and home of the brave. And I think that endeared him to Congress and set the tone for the rest of the speech, where he talked about transpartisan principles, if you will. Yes, challenging economic and political systems to ensure that they are pointed in the direction to the dignity of the person and the well-being of society. And that was a general thematic of his talk. While in Rome, we were able to address the Holy Father on issues of family life, the need to protect the unborn child, the genocide of Christians in the Middle East, and of course for Europeans that were there, the migrant problem that is raging.
Representative Hill, you brought a Catholic school teacher. Tell us about that experience and overall your impression of the Pope and how he was received by Congress.
I think he was received very well by Congress, members on both sides of the aisle. And it was a treat for me to bring a priest from Little Rock today that I've known over 40 years, who was a great teacher and a part of my high school life. It was his first trip to Washington, D.C., and his first trip and opportunity to be around the Pope, and he enjoyed every minute of it.
Representative Fortenberry, you just hit us with an interesting term, transpartisanship. We're talking about Congress maybe shutting down the government over Planned Parenthood. We're talking about Congress by many measures that's been the least productive in history. Very few laws have gone through. If anything, we've seen just a tremendous amount of partisanship to the point where the gears of Congress have been stuck. You think this can unstick it to any degree?
Well, Congress and perhaps America took a breath today and hit the pause button and focused on something that is higher, something that is good, something that is lasting. And I think the Holy Father's presence, being the Vicar of Christ on earth, the successor to St. Peter's going back 2,000 plus years, as well as his personal presence, the fact that he is a very humble man, the fact that you may not know which direction he's going to go next. He gets out of his car, gets out of the Pope Mobile and wades into the crowd and takes children into his arms, tries to bless the sick. He is somewhat unpredictable in that regard. So today's speech, again, was predictable in the sense that he spoke to us about large, lasting values, affirmed the goodness of America, but I think appropriately challenged elected officials, lawmakers to set up the structures of justice that lead to the interdependency in the economy, an ecological system where nothing is thrown away inordinately or no person is left behind. I think those are the general themes. So it didn't necessarily wade into the rancor and divisive policy debates in Congress, but I think it gave the institution a moment to pause and reflect on higher things.
Representative Hill, we just heard the terms, the word humble, justice. We're in a period right now where a lot of people think America probably needs a lot more humility, and yet maybe that's not going to be the case, particularly in this 2016 race for the White House. Is it possible that this aura, this desire for more humility, for us all to be somewhat more humble, might take some sort of root? Maybe we can see some sort of constructive change or improvement with what's happening in D.C., because everyone is turned off from what's happening there with, by the way, both parties.
Well, I think what the Pope talked about today was the civic responsibility that legislative bodies have to create the conditions precedent for opportunity and growth. That's how you get the dignity of work. That's why you get people at all steps of society to have the pursuit of happiness. That was his theme, and he talked to us about our responsibility in that regard. And I took it absolutely to heart. He also talked about stewardship and the stewardship that we all have in our communities, from the very local level all the way up to the top of our government and our society, to be stewards of each other. He talked about the golden rule, and to be stewards of our common home, the earth.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much, and congratulations. It was a historic day, and you guys played a big role in it. We appreciate it.